Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Chantel. This is my basic journey. If you've been following along, I started traveling in a minivan back in 2020, and November of last year, my mom was diagnosed with colon cancer, and so I came back to Illinois to be with her while she went through treatments. And the plan was always to go back on the road and continue traveling when she was in the clear. And so I've just been sitting here with her and going through the treatments with her and just trying to be here for her as best as I can. Also, if you didn't know, my dad passed away last April. It'll be a year very shortly. Sorry, I don't want to start crying already. So this last year has been really hard for me, and planning on going back on the road was something that was a positive goal, something that I was aiming for the last few months that I've been here. And unfortunately, things just haven't gone the way that I have wanted them to, and I'm starting to rethink what my plans for the future are. And so I thought that maybe we could just sit down and have a very candid talk about what is going on and why traveling right now might not be the best idea for me. And so to start off, a couple weeks ago, I went to go start my van and it didn't start. I'm pretty sure that it just needs a new battery, but we got a jump. I got it started, and now all of the things on my dash aren't working. Like my speedometer won't work. My RPM gauge is like stuck underneath like the needle stopper, and so it just stays below 0 and it won't go above it. There are just things that are wrong with my van, and it might just need a new battery, but there are so many other things. Like, it is a 2001 Dodge Grand Caravan, has almost 200,000 miles on it, and if anything was to happen, even if I was to get a new battery and go back on the road and it seemed fine, if anything was to happen to it right now, financially, I wouldn't be able to fix it, and so I would be stranded wherever my van decided to take a shit. And so I really wanted to make sure that I was financially ready to get back on the road when it was going to happen. So that's just one of the main things that is really preventing me from getting back on the road. My mom got done with her treatments at the end of January, and so we had to wait a while before she got her first checkup, and she went in for her first like mini checkup and did blood work, and her blood work came back with numbers that weren't great. A few days ago, we went to go see her oncologist and talk to him about what the next steps are gonna be. And so she has to go and get an MRI and get a colonoscopy done. And so when I thought that we were in the clear and that I could start kind of preparing to head back out, we get hit with this kind of like up in the air, we don't know what's going on, it could be fine, but I don't want to leave her and then find out that it's not fine, right? I want to be here for her because, like I said, I did just lose my dad last year, and so I would hate myself if I left and then something happened, right? And so that's just where my priorities are at this time. As much as I would love to be back on the road, it's just really not financially smart of me to get back out there right at this minute. And obviously it is affecting me in a way where it does make me sad. I wish that I could just hop in my van and ride out into the sunset, but I do need to be smart. I need to be practical because I don't have like a bailout system in case something was to happen when I'm out on the road. I really did sink into a depression recently, just trying to figure out like what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna continue making videos? Am I gonna try and get a new job while I'm here to kind of make up for the fact that I don't have travel content for you guys? Because I know that's why like 90% of the people who watch my channel are here is to see me travel in a minivan with my dog, Joey, who is doing really good, by the way. Give you a little mini update. He is doing really good. He is loving it here. But anyways, as I was thinking about what I'm going to be doing going forward, I really started to think about how far I've come. And I feel like a lot of people, especially newer subscribers, don't know a lot of my past and what it took to get to where I was. Because it's crazy to me to think that 9 years ago, January, I went sober. I got sober after 14 years of being an alcoholic and a drug addict and just not having any serious goals in my life. My main goals were just to make enough money to be able to drink and get fucked up and basically just pay for concerts and festivals, because those were my priorities back then. And January 2016, I decided to get sober due to many, many reasons. And from there, my life just kind of catapulted into forward movement. And by June of 2016, I was able to save up enough money, pack everything into my little Saturn Ion, and move across the country. I moved from Illinois to Oregon, and my goal at that time was to move to Portland, Oregon. I was doing a work trade program called WOOF, where I went and I lived on a farm and I worked on this farm for X amount of hours, and then they allowed me to live there for free. I also got a free meal per day for free, which was really awesome. And so that's what I did. And I tried to move to Portland, Oregon. Unfortunately, I found out very quickly that I could not afford to live in Portland, Oregon on my own, and that I would have needed like 5 roommates, closet-sized room, and it would still be over my budget. So I ended up in Eugene, Oregon, which was absolutely beautiful and so much fun. I ended up really loving Eugene. I didn't know anything about this town before I moved there. I did all of my research on Portland, Oregon. And so I had no idea, but within the first couple weeks of me traveling there to like check it out and look for housing and look for a job, I was able to find somewhere to live. And a few weeks later, I ended up getting a job. And so everything just kind of worked out how I think it was supposed to work out. And in 2019, I used my tax return money to buy a $1,200 minivan off of Craigslist. And that's really when my van life adventure began. I was making videos on YouTube before that, before I even knew I was going to get a van. And I was making content about minimalism and being vegan and mental health. But my YouTube channel really didn't kick off until I started building up my van and then planning on moving into it. I ended up getting a job camp hosting near Bend, Oregon, and I did that for a season. And then after that, my YouTube was making enough money for me to go on the road full time. And so I've been doing that since 2020. And living my best life. I've had such a blast, and I know that eventually I will be able to get back on the road, but I really just have to deal with like what life is handing me right now. And unfortunately, that means that I'm probably not going to be traveling for a little while. I really thought that once we got the okay from the doctor, I was just gonna repack up my van and get out of here. But with my van having problems and my finances not being as great as I would want them to be, it's really just the smartest decision for me to stay here for a while. And I told myself when I first got here that I was really gonna work on getting healthy. When I was living in the van, it was really hard for me to keep up with eating healthy. I would definitely try, but it was so much easier to eat convenience foods than to eat healthier. And, you know, when you have a very, very small fridge and only a single burner stove, it is harder to keep up with eating healthy foods. And so I was trying, but I was just kind of eating really shitty. It was a lot easier to make ramen and eat chips and bagels and eat PB&Js than it was to eat healthy foods. And so when I got here, my goal while I was at my mom's house, especially because I had just lost my dad last April to a heart attack. He was only 53 years old, and alcoholism is the culprit in that situation. But then my mom got diagnosed with colon cancer, and something in me was just like, I really need to focus on getting healthy and working on myself. And I wasn't really focused on that as much when I was living in the van, because all of my focus went into traveling and making YouTube content about traveling. And so I just really didn't put much focus into my health and well-being. And since I've been here, I've been doing pretty good. I was doing really good when I first got here. I ended up losing like 10 pounds, and then the holidays happened, and I gained most of that back. And now I've been back at it again. I am down 17 pounds as of this morning. I've really just been putting a lot of focus into getting healthier, eating healthier, getting more exercise in. And now that it's getting nicer, I can actually go out and go on adventures. I've always been an outdoorsy person. I've always been a camper. So I will definitely be going on camping trips and going on hiking adventures. There's a place that I haven't taken you guys yet that is my absolute favorite. It's called Matheson State Park. It's not far from where I live. So I'll definitely be going there at least a few times during the summer because it is pretty close. But yeah, I've just really been focusing on getting healthier. And I think that's really where my priorities need to be right now, rather than me trying to force myself to leave here in order to make traveling content. And that was a really hard decision to make, because that is what my channel is built on, was me traveling in my minivan with my dog. And I love it. And I cannot wait to get back on the road, but I really just need to put my family and my health first and really get my shit together. I want to save up money. I would really, really like to get a new van and get something bigger. Right now, especially with the economy the way it is and everything that is going on as far as like politically goes, it's really hard right now. And I would love to eventually be able to afford a bigger van so I can get back on the road and travel again. I just don't know when that's going to be. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's continued to be supportive while I'm kind of going through all of these transitions and trying to figure everything out, because it has been really hard. When I feel like everything that I've worked for the last like 9 years just kind of has been falling apart. It has been hard, but I'm working on it, and I'm trying to prioritize myself and my health and just getting everything together to make sure that when I'm ready to go back on the road again, that it's in a smart way, right? I don't want to leave when I'm not financially stable, because if something was to happen, I would be stranded. And I don't know anything about mechanics, okay? I can barely change my own oil. So I'm not going to be able to like fix things in my van if something goes wrong. And so that's just where we're at right now. And if everybody could just keep my mom in their thoughts as we try to navigate going forward. And hopefully, you know, everything's fine. That she's going to go get her MRI and get all of her testing done over the next few weeks. And they're going to be like, you know what, everything's fine. You're good. and then we can move forward. But it has definitely been a very emotional, not very productive time in my life right now, as I am trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So again, for all of you who have been so supportive, all of the people that are in my Patreon who have been so incredibly loving, thank you. Like, I really, really do appreciate it. I know that this is like not the content that people want, but this is just where my life is, and I have to keep it real with you guys and keep it transparent, because I really thought that by now, because it's spring now, so happy spring. This just happened. Last week was the first week of spring. I really thought that I would be getting ready to leave again by now, that the weather is getting warmer and I would be packing up everything, getting back on the road. But that's just not the way that life worked for me. And so I hope that you guys will stick with me as I am navigating through life. This is my basic journey, trying to figure everything out and get healthier, and I'm still going to be going on adventures. Like I said, I grew up camping. Every single weekend, my parents, like, that was what we did for fun when I was a kid. And so it's part of my life forever, regardless as if I'm traveling across the United States or if I'm going on local camping trips. But those will still be happening, and definitely want to go hiking more, especially now that it's getting warmer, and I'll definitely be bringing you guys along with me for that. But as far as traveling in my minivan goes, it's most likely just going to be local adventures, and I'm so sorry to tell you guys that, because this video is really hard for me to make. It's already been a few takes. As you can tell, I've been crying. I have been trying to get the words out as eloquently as I can without being overly emotional about it. So yeah, that is just where I'm at right now. And so again, thank you for watching this and for watching my videos and just being so supportive, especially in the comments. I do have that new e-bike, and so I'm very excited to go on biking trips. And I do have my paddleboard, so I'm excited to go to different lakes around here and go paddleboarding. But, you know, I'm just trying to go with the flow. I was really trying to, like, force things to move forward quicker, and you just can't in situations like this. You really just can't. And I couldn't imagine being somewhere else right now. Like, I need to be here with my mom at this moment. And so that's what we're going to do. And I think we pretty much covered everything. My van's not doing great. My mom's good, but we're just getting some questionable blood work. So we're doing more testing on that. And yeah, Joey's doing good. That's where we're at. So thank you again for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, definitely subscribe below. I'll also put a link for my Patreon in the description box in case you're interested in checking that out and helping support my channel. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.